financial problems, elder law, criminal law, tax problems, business matters, divorce, personal injury, bankruptcy, your life, your reality. Life is complicated. There is the law and there is reality. Welcome to Law and Reality, sponsored by THAV GROSS. Now here's your host, Ken Gross.
Welcome to this segment of Law and Reality. Today's topic is Chapter 7, the least costly and fastest way to eliminate debt.
Well, that was a short show. You're right, Ken, that's it.
Our debt maverick.
Good morning, Ken.
Brian Small.
Pleasure to be here, and there's a lot we're going to talk about today.
And our troublemaker, Pat Samasco.
How is this at all related to elder law, this topic?
Elderly people have credit card debt as well.
They really do. I've been seeing the people coming in.
It is absolutely unbelievable how much credit card debt people over the age of 65 have right now. Over the age of 75.
There's a mentality that exists with regard to credit card debt that is very easy. People that have a lot of credit card debt, it's very easy to slip into this mode. Once you're in the credit card trap and you're constantly just managing your minimum payments and you're looking for more available credit, when you get a credit card offer that says we'll give you a $10,000 credit limit, that's like, mentally in that mode, that's like someone giving you $10,000. It's not. It's the worst thing in the world to be in that hole and to dig yourself deeper into the hole. But that's the mentality, and that's the same thing. And when you get older, it's the same thing. My dad had a lot of credit card debt, and I wanted him to get rid of all of it and just not pay it. He wanted to keep it going because he wanted to get more credit card debt.
He actually won. At the end, when he passed away, how much did he wipe out?
All of it.
How much was it, you think?
About 45.
You won.
So I want to give you.
So
I want to
it's
give
the
you.
way it's my turn.
I want to give you the typical.
The worst one was the guy comes in. He goes, "Oh, my mom had literally $45,000 in credit card debt. I couldn't believe it. So I went and got a home equity loan, paid off all the home equity debt, and then she died.
I want
to backwards.
I want to give you the typical situation that walks into the office right now. Okay, and it's rather disturbing, but it is what it is, right? Mom walks into the office with $45,000, $50,000 in credit card debt, and she's got $2,200 in Social Security, and that's it. Now, why is she coming
married?
No, because dad passed away. Okay,
and she still did that.
When mom and dad were married and they were both alive, they're retired. And they've got $5,000 a month of income,
which is good income coming.
Okay, and here's what it is.
Dies, now they have
Dad was retired. He had Social Security and a little pension. Okay,
gone.
He passes away. Oh, the wife doesn't get his pension. Why? Because he married her after he was done working at General Motors, and he made that spousal. He didn't choose a spousal election.
All she gets is his Social Security.
All she gets is his Social Security, and she's got a house, and the house is paid for. Okay, but here's the problem: there's $250,000 equity in the home, and mom's got $1,800 to $2,200 of Social Security income coming in. And she owes $45,000 in credit card debt, and she can't file Chapter 7. She can't file Chapter 7 bankruptcy to eliminate it. Usually, what we do with mom, because her income is Social Security, we're going to look at.
There is a solution.
There is a solution. I make mom into
Get remarried.
No, I turn her into a superhero.
And marry a veteran.
I turn her into a superhero. I make her uncollectible, because in Michigan, when you.
How do you then protect the house?
Well, she's going to get sued, okay?
They file a lien against the house.
So what? What can they do?
Well,
when
she
can they
dies,
do?
The lien will go against her estate.
The
kids won't get the property.
Maybe, okay?
If the lien survives.
So, first of all, in Michigan, a judgment lien is good for 5 years. It can be renewed for an additional 5 years. Who says if you leave a house to your children or you leave it in a trust, who says it has to be sold?
So you just hold on and
Wait for the lease to expire.
Run the 10 years.
Yeah, run the 5 years. They're not going to be able to renew the judgment when mom, if mom
If
passed.
you know that's the case, you don't do the trust. You do the ladybird deed.
Ladybird deed. But if a ladybird deed,
Wait a minute. The only thing is, actually, I researched that.
It's avoiding probate.
It's not 100%. It's not clear in Michigan whether a pre-existing lien against the property, and then if you then ladybird deed it out, but whether there has been no cases to determine whether the lien still attaches.
Well, what they're saying is, if it goes to probate, or the trust says pay off my debts, and then whatever's left over goes to the
what
kids.
if you ladybirded to the trust?
The trust says pay my debts off. And so the idea is, how do you get rid of a debt after
Well, that's
mom
a
and dad
different
die?
question. Is it always a good thing for the trust to say pay my debts off?
You know what? That we talked about that.
Yeah.
That's just the general thing. The whole idea is to create.
It's always said
my
that.
other trusts don't pay
Don't
off
say-
the debt.
right.
But typically, where mom got in all the trouble in that case, she assumed all of dad's credit card
No.
debts.
I'll tell you how mom got in the trouble. This is the actual reality. Mom got in the trouble because she was used to living, mom and dad, on $5,000 a month. And mom didn't recognize when dad died that she needed to restructure her life because there's only $1,200 or $2,200.
because when
and she
dad
continued
dies-
to live the same lifestyle.
Yeah, when dad dies, the expenses don't go down other than dad's
Yeah.
share of the food,
Yeah.
and maybe if they had 2 cars, there's only 1 car.
So
all
what
the
do you
rest of their expenses stay the same.
Tell every lady in the viewing audience, does she owe her husband's credit card debts?
Absolutely not. Unless she co-signed the obligation, her duty does not exist to pay those.
We
her-
run into
her
that
debts.
problem all the time where they
But-
want to pay the debt, and we,
Oh,
we
you're
absolutely
ripping
stop
that
them from
pen
doing
out
that.
of
But where
Yeah.
the problem also exists
Wait,
is that
don't
it's
tell
her
us,
debts.
Don't tell us tell us about that after the break.
Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirschner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
You know, Dad always asked that we look after Mom when he passed away.
I know, but she insisted on moving down to the Villages, and now she has that new boyfriend, and I am worried. Maybe it's time to just call Samasco Law.
Take the stress out of your family's future. Reach out to Samasco Law and set a course through life's difficult times. Samasco Law, protecting what means most because that's what we do.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. there is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP.
You know, before we started the show, you said to me, you have, quote unquote, you have never seen credit card debt like you're seeing now. Tell me about that. Because that's not the mom story. That's,
No,
you're saying it's exploding.
this is the mom and dad story. This
Yeah.
this is the everybody story. I mean, I've been doing this now for 33 years, and I'll tell you something. It is now starting to shock me the amount of credit card debt people are walking in. People that are making $40, $50, $60,000 a year, walking in with $40, $50, $60, $100,000 in credit card debt. It's astronomical.
Which means
How
they've
many-
got a minimum monthly payment of $25
They can't
to
afford it.
$27
No,
a month.
they're all they're doing is
Rolling the cards.
Is they're writing a check from one card to the next
Yeah.
card. They're taking cash
And
advances.
as soon as they tap out their
How
credit
many-
limit,
well, that's
they're
why they
done.
call me.
How many people are coming in now with the student loan debt of their kids or their grandkids?
Every day.
There's
That happens too.
That's part
They've
of
got
it.
the student
Bigger
loans.
problem.
They've got the credit cards. They've got the
So what's the solutions?
Chapter 7, if we can do it. I mean, we do the analysis, and it's a simple rule. If your expenses, your everyday household expenses, exceed or equal your everyday household income,
Excluding the credit card payments.
excluding the credit card debt. In other words, what does it take for you to live, eat, sleep, and breathe in the mythical world where you have no debt? If
you're
expenses
underwater.
if your expenses and income are the same or you're underwater, you're generally going to qualify for a Chapter 7.
And then what happens? How quickly do you get rid of the debt?
Well, you walk in to my office and we file a Chapter 7 next week. It's gone in 3.5 months.
Fastest solution ever.
It is the least costly, most effective method to get out of
Can
it.
I
And
throw
what if
in
you don't
el-
meet those criteria?
Then if you
But
don't
go
meet
ahead.
the criteria,
Well, I'm
then
gonna tell
we
you-
have other options.
So the elder law part of it, you're all ready to get that done. You go to see Brian, and all of a sudden mom dies, and you're going to inherit a bunch of stuff from your parents. The parents need to know that, because if they
You
get
got the
all
planning.
so
You
then
can't-
you do the
You got a
estate-
180-day rule, too.
Well, you do the estate plan for grandma, so the kid doesn't inherit
Discretionary.
it to let them
So-
do the bankruptcy.
Absolutely.
The rule is, if you inherit an asset within 181 days,
If you're entitled to receive it.
right, of filing the bankruptcy. So you file bankruptcy on Monday, Dad dies on Tuesday. That's less than 180 days.
That's
But
a
if
big
Dad-
law
But
change,
if Dad
too.
had a trust and the money for the son was discretionary in the discretion of the
Right.
trustee, then you don't have that
And
problem.
that's
correct.
the issue that we see all the time when the financial advice, you don't need a trust. Kids listed as beneficiary, it avoids probate, they're going to get it. Avoiding probate is one issue, protecting it from the creditors, and that's
It's
the
a bigger issue.
change of the law with beneficiary IRAs. Remember a few years ago?
So yeah, if you are the beneficiary of an IRA, so IRAs cannot be attacked.
401k,
401k,
403b,
right?
through a
You
savings
get to
plan.
keep them. Your 401k, your
Up to
IRA.
what? Up to $1 million?
It's like 1.4 million now because of inflation. But
So load up your 401k.
you
and
can
then
keep
file
all of that
bankruptcy.
asset if you file Chapter
Okay,
7
but
bankruptcy.
what about house equity?
But if you have an inherited IRA,
You die and the kid gets the
don't-
IRA. It loses the creditor protection.
Mm-hmm.
What about a house? What all your examples were mom
okay,
and
so
dad
mom and dad,
are their expenses exceed their income, but they've got $300,000 of equity in the house.
okay,
What do you do then?
so in Michigan we have something called the tenancy by the entireties exemption. Most spouses, when they buy a house, they buy it together, and most deeds are going to say Bob Smith and Mary Smith, his wife. You don't have to say that in the deed
by
anymore.
tenants by the entirety.
But that's called tenancy by the entireties. And you can protect all of the equity in your home, period, as long as you have no joint debt. So sometimes what we'll do is we'll look at the client. Are they a candidate for a Chapter 7? Yes.
But you
do they
gotta give us
have
some debt.
do they have a house that they own tenancy by the entireties? Yes. Do they have joint debt? Well, look at that. Out of the $100,000 worth of debt that they have, they've got $18,000 worth of joint debt. So what we're going to do?
Roll everything into the one guy's name.
We might, if they have credit, we might just do that.
Is that allowed?
You know what? What isn't allowed?
Somehow you have to get rid
Or
of
we're gonna settle the debt, that the $18,000 by doing debt resolution on a portion of that. Then we wait a little period of time. Then we file the bankruptcy. There's ways to legally manipulate it and come out ahead, and you keep your house, you keep your IRA.
Can I be the troublemaker?
Sure.
Okay, that was with mom and dad. What if just dad has $50,000 of credit card debt and $200,000 of equity in the house?
Dad has a problem.
What do you do then?
Well, as I said previously, sometimes it depends on dad's source of income. Is dad working or is dad retired?
Could dad be a Chapter 13 in that case?
But dad would be 100% repayment Chapter 13 because I can't protect enough equity in the house.
So you'd save the interest on the credit card?
Yeah, but he'd have to pay it back over 5
What other alternatives?
We make debt uncollectible.
Let's talk about that.
We do debt resolution. We can do that, but we can make debt uncollectible. Maybe his only income is Social Security. He doesn't have the ability to pay those credit cards.
So that's where people come in. They come in to see me to protect from the nursing home, but protect from the nursing home is the same as protecting from credit card debt. So that's called a fraudulent transfer. If you're transferring assets in
we're not transferring the assets.
Hang on, but let me answer the question. Let's assume that we are, because hell yeah,
well, sometimes yes, we do, and we know that it's a fraudulent transfer.
So what's the chances that the $5,000 Visa card is going to go to that level?
They're never.
Right.
Never.
That's exactly the point. It is a fraudulent transfer, and a creditor could go into court and ultimately get it set aside. But there's not enough.
What is the 1 year statute of limitations?
It's a 6-year statute of limitations in Michigan.
If it was $50,000, probably not. But if it was $500,000, then a creditor might be motivated. But $5,000, never. Let's take a break. I want to stay on that same topic that you're raising because it comes up all the time.
Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
You know, Dad made us promise we would never put him in a nursing home.
I know, but he found that new caregiver on the internet, and I'm getting worried.
Don't worry, honey. I know just how to take care of you.
I'm sure you do.
Maybe it's time to call Samasco Law.
You know, I've heard of them. All my friends on Facebook use them.
Take the stress out of your family's future. Reach out to Samasco Law and set a course through life's difficult times. Samasco Law, protecting what means most because that's what we do.
If you're retired and in a financial crisis, there is a way out.
It pains me when I see a retired couple exhaust their savings by paying credit card bills and for a home hopelessly underwater.
THAV GROSS specializes in helping retired people in financial crisis.
You just can't keep paying until you're broke. You need to address the problem now.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
Time for announcements. I want to announce THAV GROSS has opened a new office downriver in the Horizon building on Eureka Road. So now we're in Flint, downriver, and also our home office in Bingham Farms. Remember, you can always come in for a free consultation. You can do it by Zoom conference, in the office, any way that works best for you. Just call 888-235-HELP or go to the website thavgross.com to sign up. Debt issues, tax issues, estate planning issues, business law issues, elder law issues with Pat or Kelsey, disability issues with Jeff Kirshner. Again, sign up at lawandreality.com or thavgross.com or just call 888-235-HELP. Also, if you go to the website, you'll see there's free reports. Resolving Tax Problems, The Real Solutions by Jeff Linden and myself. Bankruptcy, Is It Right for Me by Brian Small. How to Save Your Home from Foreclosure. Business Formations, Loans and Grants for Small Businesses in Detroit and Michigan. And The Retiree's Guide to Social Security by Pat Samasco. want to thank our sponsors, THAV GROSS, Samasco Law, Kirshner Law. Now back to the show.
Tax problems are major problems. Don't let the IRS levy your wages and seize your assets. There is a solution.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
If you're behind on your taxes and owe money to the IRS, call THAV GROSS.
We've been solving tax problems for 32 years. We stop wage levies, resolve unfiled returns, and obtain the best possible settlements.
Call THAV GROSS today, 888-235-HELP. You can't work. You have to deal with pain and stress. Worse yet, our system for applying for disability benefits seeks to deny you the benefits you're entitled. Jeff Kirshner is an expert in obtaining disability and workers' compensation benefits for his clients. You need to call Jeff before you apply or after you're denied to get the benefits you deserve. 888-235-HELP. 888-235-HELP. Is the debt piling up? Struggling to get by?
It's all about preserving future income. Bankruptcy is one option. When it's right, it's the least costly, most effective way to save your home, eliminate a second mortgage, and wipe out credit card debt. But you need to address the problem now.
We help people with bankruptcy. Call the experts.
We're THAV GROSS. Our firm will solve your problem.
888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP. Carrying too much debt? Resolve your debt. Call THAV GROSS.
You don't need to be broke, and you don't need to hit rock bottom. If you have income and you're struggling with debt, dump it. Think about the next 10 or 20 years. If you do what the banks tell you, you'll have nothing to retire with. There is a solution.
Don't waste your future. Call THAV GROSS. We're experts at eliminating credit card debt. 888-235-HELP. That's 888-235-HELP.
All right, so we're back. Let me give you the classic example, like you said. You've got dad who's on social. We talked about my dad and the credit card debt. So he had all this credit card debt. I finally took over his financing, and I wasn't going to pay a penny of it, nor was I going to settle it.
Why?
Chase, because
don't need to.
All he had was Social Security.
Yeah.
You live in an apartment,
Chase,
your Social Security, they can't get anything from you.
The bank would call me up because I had his power of attorney. Well, we'd like to settle. When I turned back his car, we'd like forward credit. We'd like to settle with you. How much does he owe?
Yeah.
$14,000. My offer
Zero.
is nothing.
This is the reality, though, because I got a couple clients going through this right now. It freaks them out, though, when the bank serves, when the lawyer serves them the lawsuit.
They need someone to help them.
Right. I mean, that's one of the reasons why
they can't handle the pressure.
We-
They need someone to help.
People
the pressure-
lose sleep over that
We
stuff.
take the pressure off of the individual. We help guide them through it, and we make them uncollectible.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, all they want is peace and quiet. Because they're
They
never
want the
gonna.
phone to stop
They're never
ringing.
gonna pay Visa and Mastercard at that point. But sometimes they've got assets, and they don't want
wanna
to pay.
keep 'em.
So,
But even when they have assets, when they're elderly, you have that window of opportunity. You can't do this yourself for the exact reason you said. You can't stand the pressure when it's you.
Right.
And you also can't feel comfortable bluffing. But when you're representing somebody, you can always not know, and you can always not answer.
This is how-
And you create leverage.
How can you get them to stop calling you?
change your phone number. I know this is as simple.
If you
I
have
have
an
people
attorney
change
and
their
you tell
phone
them,
number all the time.
if we're representing them and we contact them with a letter, then they won't call
They
you.
can't.
And
They call you.
Yeah.
Which
And the
is
other
fine.
thing-
Let them call me.
And the other thing is, have voicemail on your phone and don't answer the phone. I don't answer my phone.
I never.
The hard
I know.
line
Do you
on
know
our
how
phone-
hard it is to get a hold of him?
No.
I answer my cell phone.
Yeah.
I don't answer the hard line. I wait for because and when I get my cell phone, if I don't recognize the number, sometimes I don't recognize the number and someone's calling me because they've been given my number. I say, "What do you want?" And then it's somebody who wants help.
Okay.
Whoops.
Mom, she stopped making her Visa payment. You told her she's uncollectible, and she gets the complaint served on her. What do you tell her to do? It's a $3,500 credit card.
I tell her to bring it to me.
Yeah, we'll
Don't
take
worry
care of
about
it.
And what do you do?
Well, quite often what we do is we'll file an answer, and then we will stretch it out and go to the first pretrial, then go to the second pretrial, and then we give a consent judgment.
But if mom is
But by the time it gets that stretched out,
You do that for free.
I've got mom, no.
That's the problem.
But I've got mom comfortable with the fact that she isn't going to be able, she's going to be able to keep everything she has, and nobody's going to take anything from her. And once you get a judgment creditor in place against somebody who only has Social Security, it's like
how do you
trying to.
So how does mom do it on her own?
It's like, well, mom can just ignore it all.
Mom has to be knowledgeable to
Right.
do it on her own. And
Mom
it's-
and
it's-
her
it's-
son or
it's-
daughter.
well,
You got
that's
to
how-
educate
yeah.
the son or daughter.
It's a lot of pressure for the elderly person who is the debtor to do it. Maybe the son can do it. I mean, like when I did it with my father with Chase, which I would do
it's
it,
easy.
I'm saying to the guy, my offer, I said, did you ever watch The Godfather? He go, yeah. I said, my offer is nothing. And he laughed at me. He said, are you serious? I said, yes, I'm serious. He said, on Social Security, you can't take it.
So what I'm hearing,
I said to him, sue him. Send me the papers.
since your dad passed away, we can give all of our clients your cell phone number. They can call you when that happens.
Yes.
But here's the
But
thing.
I'll give you the number.
If they don't,
1-888-8888.
if
THAV GROSS.
if the individual doesn't have significant assets, we still go back to the core ability to give them that peace of mind, the fresh
It
start.
really is, yeah.
File a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, keep what you own, and get rid of what you owe. That is the simplest, easiest way to deal with
And your
the
mom
problem.
or my dad would have been a perfect candidate
Yeah.
for Chapter 7, but from that standpoint,
So-
why bother with the Chapter 7 when there was nothing they could do? I could get rid of it with a phone call.
That point for you, it's probably cheaper to go through bankruptcy with you than it would for you to go to court and do the
Oh,
pre-trial.
100%.
Yes.
But sometimes people don't
Do you
want to do
actually
that.
go to
file
the trustee hearings, the first creditor hearing?
Sure.
Do they have it in person, or is it
No,
Zoom
they're all
now?
by Zoom now.
Now it's
Everything is
Zoom.
so easy. Most courts are by Zoom. The bankruptcy court is by Zoom. Now, if you have hearings in front of a judge, you're going to possibly have to be in person. But
Very rare.
It's very rare. It is convenient. It's easy. It's straightforward. It's a question of whether or not you qualify.
My last bankruptcy I did about 30 years ago, and there's an elderly woman, really big woman. She's walking into the creditor's exam, and she has a grand mal seizure and passes out right in the hallway. People, they had to step over her to get into the hearing room. That's the only creditor exam that no one has any questions.
Those creditor exams in those days were a very nuisance. It's a
God.
much more
Doug
pleasant
Schermetto,
experience than it was then. Yes, exactly right.
Doug.
I have a story on that one for the next show. Have a great week. We'll be back next week with Law and Reality.